A viewer wanted to know what she can do about awkward silences in conversation. Oh, everyone hates those. And if you're talking to somebody for a long time, you're bound to have a moment when neither of you is saying anything. All right, so that's when you ask about the other person. People love, love, love to talk about themselves. So you ask about them. And it would be weird if you asked something out of the blue. Like, where'd you grow up? Although that's a very good question. But you don't want to say something that doesn't relate to anything you've talked about. So I would say something that they had mentioned in the past. Oh, you said you have this crazy aunt. I just talked to my crazy aunt, and this is what she said. And then go on and on. Or remember you were talking about your crazy uncle? Yeah, whatever happened to him? Or are you still having problems with your sister? My sister drives me crazy. So anything with the family is really good because people always have either really good or really bad stories about their family. And you can ask about where they grew up as long as you can relate it to something they've said. Like, oh, you know what? I ran into somebody the other day and they grew up near where you did. Didn't you say you grew up in such and such neighborhood? You see what I mean? So whatever you ask, relate it to something they had said previously. And the key is here, you've got to listen. That's why I always say, really, really listen. That way, if you can listen and remember, you'll always have something to ask. Ask about something they've said. And when people say, you got to talk more, you're so quiet, they don't really want you to talk more. Nobody wants you to talk more. They just want you to ask them more questions so they can talk about themselves. That is the key. You've got to get them talking about themselves because then, and I've said this before, they're going to think you're the greatest conversationalist. And you may have said nothing, 2 words, just something to get them started, something to get them on a tangent. Because then you can just sit back. I'm not kidding. Compliments are always good as long as they're heartfelt. I love your sweater. Where'd you get it? Oh, they have great sales. I got such and such. Have you been to this other store that has something really similar to what you're wearing? See what I mean? Now, don't just compliment something out of the blue because they're going to be able to tell if it's not sincere. So a sincere compliment is great. Also, if you know you have something in common with this person, if it's you love westerns or old movies or a certain type of music, a certain band, you know that, you can always bring that up. So find what you have in common, think about what they've said in the past, and if worse comes to worse, then ask them some question out of the blue, something about themselves. I say something about a vacation they want to take. Oh, what are you doing this summer? Yeah, I've always wanted to go to such and such place. You could have an entire conversation based on Australia or wherever you want to go. Where is your ideal vacation place? That gets people started. Or career aspirations, anything like that. But you want to find out about them and you want them to open up more. And how to do that? Questions. Don't be afraid. Now, don't rattle off question after question after question. It sounds like a job interview. But you ask a question, then you say something related to whatever they said. Like give your input. Like, yeah, I've been to such and such a place, loved it, wouldn't go back, that sort of thing. And then you ask them another question. And I know, yeah, that's how conversations work, but it's not so easy when you're nervous. So think about what you could possibly talk about ahead of time. You know you're going to run into this person. You know you're going to meet them somewhere. Think about what they like, their habits, their passions, their hobbies, their interests, and think of things you can ask ahead of time. And if you have those in your head, it makes it a lot easier.